In the summer of 2023, a photograph emerged from a Beverly Hills surgical suite that would haunt the entertainment industry forever. A once beloved star, unrecognizable beneath layers of bandages, lay unconscious on an operating table, the victim of their 15th procedure in 18 months. The pursuit of perfection had become an addiction. The promise of transformation had become a prison. And the faces that once graced magazine covers now served as warnings of what happens when beauty becomes an obsession that consumes everything in its path. Subscribe now to witness the shocking transformations that changed Hollywood forever. Sahar Tabar, the zombie Angelina Jolie. The world first met Sahar Tabar through a photograph so disturbing it seemed impossible to be real. The young Iranian woman had transformed herself into what the media dubbed a zombie Angelina Jolie, a skeletal, hollow-eyed figure that sparked global fascination and horror in equal measure. Sahar claimed to have undergone 50 surgeries to achieve her ghostly appearance, though she later admitted many images were digitally manipulated. The truth hardly mattered. The internet had found its newest obsession. Her Instagram account exploded with followers drawn to her macabre transformation, like witnesses to a car accident. But the pursuit of viral fame came with consequences she never anticipated. Iranian authorities arrested her for violating cultural norms, and she faced a potential 10-year prison sentence. The woman who had sought attention through extreme body modification found herself trapped in a legal nightmare that made international headlines. Behind the shocking images lay a deeper story of desperation and identity crisis. Sahar's transformation wasn't just about Angelina Jolie. It was about a young woman so desperate to escape her ordinary life that she was willing to destroy her natural beauty and risk her freedom. Her release from prison didn't mark the end of her struggles, but the beginning of a new chapter defined by the irreversible choices she made in pursuit of fame. Jedlica, the human Ken doll's million-dollar obsession. At 13 years old, Jedlica made a decision that would consume the next 2 decades of his life. He would transform himself into the perfect man. Inspired by glamorous television shows and a deep dissatisfaction with his natural appearance, he began planning surgical procedures with the precision of a military campaign. By his 30s, Justin had undergone over 1,000 cosmetic procedures, spending nearly $1 million to reshape every inch of his body. His transformation was so complete that media dubbed him the human Ken doll, a title he embraced with pride and defiance. But perfection proved to be a moving target. Each surgery revealed new imperfections that demanded correction. His forehead veins reminded him of Julia Roberts, so he had them removed. His shoulders weren't broad enough, so he had implants inserted. His hair wasn't thick enough, so he underwent multiple transplants costing tens of thousands of dollars. The psychological toll was as significant as the physical one. Justin's pursuit of perfection became an all-consuming obsession that dominated his thoughts, finances, and relationships. Friends and family watched helplessly as the person they once knew disappeared beneath layers of artificial enhancement. His story represents the extreme end of body dysmorphia, a condition where perceived flaws become magnified beyond all reason, driving sufferers toward increasingly desperate measures. Michael Jackson, the king of pop's tragic metamorphosis. Michael Jackson's transformation remains one of entertainment history's most documented and debated journeys. The child who captivated audiences with the Jackson 5 gradually disappeared, replaced by a figure so altered that even longtime fans struggled to recognize him. It began innocuously enough, a single nose surgery in 1979 to repair damage from a dance accident. But what started as medical necessity evolved into something far more complex and troubling. Over the following decades, Jackson underwent an estimated 100 procedures that fundamentally changed his appearance. The physical changes were dramatic. Multiple rhinoplasties that left his nose barely functional, cheek implants that created an artificial bone structure, skin treatments that altered his complexion, and chin modifications that reshaped his profile. Some sessions involved up to 12 procedures performed simultaneously, a dangerous practice that medical professionals strongly discourage. But the transformation went deeper than cosmetic surgery. Friends and colleagues watched as Jackson became increasingly isolated, surrounded by enablers who encouraged his most destructive impulses. The man who had once moved with supernatural grace began covering his face with masks and veils, hiding from a world that no longer recognized him. His death in 2009 ended the physical transformation, but began a different kind of legacy. A cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked perfectionism and the tragic cost of losing oneself in pursuit of an impossible ideal. Mioku, the fan face tragedy. Mioku's story began like many others, a young woman concerned about aging who sought cosmetic enhancement to maintain her youth and beauty. As a model and singer in South Korea, her appearance was integral to her career, making the decision to undergo cosmetic procedures seem logical and necessary. The first surgeries went smoothly, encouraging her to continue. But somewhere along the way, the procedures began going wrong. Her face started swelling abnormally, developing an unnatural, distorted appearance that made her increasingly desperate for corrective surgery. When licensed doctors refused to perform additional procedures, Hang made a decision that would destroy her life forever. She sought out unlicensed practitioners who injected industrial silicone directly into her facial tissue. When even that became unavailable, she began injecting cooking oil into her own face with devastating results. The transformation was horrific. Her face swelled to grotesque proportions, earning her the cruel nickname "fan face" from Korean media. Multiple corrective surgeries removed hundreds of grams of foreign material from her face and neck, but the damage was irreversible. Today, Hang works in a second-hand shop, her modeling and singing career destroyed by choices made in moments of desperation. Her story serves as a stark reminder of what can happen when the pursuit of beauty becomes an uncontrolled obsession that leads to increasingly dangerous decisions. Jessica Alves, the human Barbie's $800,000 journey. Jessica Alves, formerly known as Rodrigo Alves, embarked on one of the most expensive and extensive transformation journeys in cosmetic surgery history. Over 2 decades, she spent more than $800,000 reshaping her entire body in pursuit of becoming a real-life Barbie doll. The journey began in adolescence with a medical procedure to address hormone-related breast tissue growth, but childhood bullying and deep dissatisfaction with her natural appearance drove her toward increasingly dramatic interventions. Facial contouring, multiple rhinoplasties, skin tightening, body sculpting. No procedure was too extreme in her quest for artificial perfection. But the pursuit of beauty nearly killed her. During one operation, a severe infection spread through her system, threatening her heart and requiring emergency medical intervention. Another procedure left her nasal passages so damaged she could only breathe through her mouth, severely impacting her quality of life. Despite repeated warnings from medical professionals, Jessica continued pursuing surgeries with single-minded determination. Eventually, doctors diagnosed her with body dysmorphic disorder, a mental health condition that explained her intense focus on perceived physical flaws. Her later transition from male to female added another layer to her transformation story. The woman who had once pursued an impossible plastic ideal began focusing on authentic feminine beauty, finding peace in accepting her true identity rather than chasing artificial perfection. Simon Cowell, the judge's uncanny valley. Simon Cowell built his reputation on brutal honesty, delivering cutting critiques to aspiring performers who couldn't handle the truth about their limitations. But when it came to his own appearance, the man famous for his bluntness fell victim to the same delusions that plague many celebrities seeking eternal youth. By 2023, Cowell's transformation had become so extreme that fans barely recognized him. Years of cosmetic procedures had created an artificial appearance that seemed more suited to a wax museum than a television studio. His face appeared frozen in an expression of permanent surprise, with features that no longer moved naturally. The transformation wasn't just noticed by fans and media, it deeply concerned his young son, Eric, who found his father's altered appearance frightening and unfamiliar. This reaction served as a wake-up call that forced Cowell to confront the reality of his choices. The moment of clarity came when he realized he had become a living example of everything he had criticized in others, someone so consumed with image that he had lost sight of authenticity. His son's honest reaction cut through years of enablement from industry professionals who had encouraged his increasingly extreme procedures. Cowell's decision to step back from invasive treatments and focus on natural wellness represents a rare moment of self-awareness in an industry that typically rewards escalating artificiality. His journey from cautionary tale to recovery story offers hope for others trapped in similar cycles. Heidi Montag, The Reality. Stars 16-Hour Nightmare. Heidi Montag's transformation from fresh-faced reality television star to cautionary tale unfolded in real time before millions of viewers. At just 23 years old, she made a decision that would haunt her for years, undergoing 10 cosmetic procedures in a single 16-hour surgical marathon. The ambitious surgery schedule included a brow lift, nose revision, chin reduction, breast augmentation, liposuction, and multiple other procedures. Her goal was a complete physical transformation that would launch her from reality television into mainstream celebrity. But the results were far from what she had envisioned. Recovery was brutal and dangerous. Complications from medications left her weak and disoriented for weeks. The emotional toll was equally devastating. She later described feeling like she had lost herself in pursuit of an artificial ideal that brought more problems than solutions. Years later, Montag publicly expressed deep regret about her choices, particularly undergoing such extensive surgery at such a young age. She became an advocate for more thoughtful approaches to cosmetic enhancement, encouraging others to seek comprehensive counseling before making irreversible decisions. Her story illustrates the particular pressures faced by young women in the entertainment industry, where physical appearance is constantly scrutinized and criticized. The promise of transformation through surgery often masks deeper issues of self-esteem and identity that no procedure can truly address. The woman who once pursued perfection through medical intervention now advocates for self-acceptance and careful consideration of the true costs of cosmetic surgery. Lara Flynn Boyle, The Lost Beauty of Hollywood. Lara Flynn Boyle was once the epitome of classic Hollywood beauty. Ethereal, distinctive, and naturally stunning in films like Men in Black 2 and The Road to Wellville. Her delicate features and expressive eyes made her a sought-after actress in the 1990s, representing a type of beauty that seemed timeless and authentic. But the entertainment industry's relentless focus on youth and perfection eventually took its toll. As Boyle aged, she began seeking cosmetic interventions to maintain her career viability and personal confidence. The procedures were likely intended to preserve her natural beauty, but the results achieved the opposite effect. Her transformation was gradual but dramatic. Multiple nose surgeries, lip injections, facial fillers, and other procedures fundamentally altered her appearance. The delicate bone structure that had made her face so captivating was obscured by artificial enhancements that created a puffy, distorted appearance. The irony was devastating. In trying to preserve her youth, Boyle had actually aged herself prematurely. The natural beauty that had launched her career was replaced by an artificial appearance that made casting directors hesitant to hire her for roles that required authentic emotional expression. Her career suffered as a result. Directors and producers found her new appearance distracting, and audience members struggled to connect with the person she had become. The woman who had once been celebrated for her unique look became a cautionary tale about the dangers of trying to improve upon natural perfection. Dennis Avner, the human tiger's extreme identity. Dennis Avner's transformation transcended typical cosmetic surgery, entering the realm of extreme body modification in pursuit of a completely different identity. At 23, inspired by what he claimed was guidance from Native American shamans, he began a lifelong journey to become a human tiger. His transformation was methodical and extreme. Intricate tattoos covered his face and body in tiger stripe patterns. 14 major surgeries reshaped his features with subdermal implants, pointed ears, a flattened nose, sharpened teeth, and even a mechanical tail. The result was so dramatic that he barely resembled a human being. Avner's story represents the extreme end of body modification, where surgical enhancement becomes a complete rejection of human identity in favor of something entirely different. His appearance on national television and recognition by Guinness World Records brought attention to a subculture most people never knew existed. But the psychological cost of such extreme transformation was significant. Avner struggled with depression and isolation, finding it difficult to maintain relationships or employment due to his shocking appearance. The spiritual journey he claimed to be following became a prison that separated him from society. His death by suicide in 2012 cast a shadow over his transformation story, raising questions about the mental health implications of extreme body modification. The man who had sought to become something more than human ultimately found himself trapped in an identity that isolated him from the human connections he needed to survive. Pete Burns, the gender-bending icon's surgical obsession. Pete Burns, lead singer of Dead or Alive, was never conventional. His androgynous appearance and gender-fluid presentation made him an icon of 1980s new wave music, but his relationship with cosmetic surgery became increasingly problematic as years progressed. Burns underwent numerous procedures to feminize his features and maintain what he considered his ideal appearance. Multiple nose jobs, lip enhancements, cheek implants, and other procedures gradually transformed his face into something that bore little resemblance to his original features. The most devastating consequence came from lip enhancement procedures that went catastrophically wrong. Infections and complications from substandard work left him disfigured and in constant pain. He required multiple corrective surgeries to address damage from botched procedures, but the results were never satisfactory. Burns became trapped in a cycle of corrective surgeries, each one attempting to fix problems created by previous procedures. The man who had once been celebrated for his unique beauty became increasingly isolated and bitter about the medical system that had failed him. His legal battles with cosmetic surgeons consumed years of his life and significant financial resources. The artist, who had once embodied creative freedom, became a cautionary tale about the importance of choosing qualified medical professionals and understanding the risks of cosmetic procedures. Burns' death in 2016 ended a life that had been increasingly dominated by surgical complications and legal struggles rather than musical creativity. Jocelyn Wildenstein, the Catwoman's $4 million transformation. Jocelyn Wildenstein's transformation is perhaps the most famous cosmetic surgery cautionary tale in modern history. The Swiss socialite spent an estimated $4 million over decades attempting to achieve what she considered the perfect feline appearance, earning her the cruel nickname Catwoman from international media. Her obsession allegedly began as an attempt to save her marriage to art dealer Alec Wildenstein, who she believed preferred more exotic-looking women. The strategy backfired spectacularly. The more she altered her appearance, the more alienated her husband became, ultimately leading to a highly publicized divorce. The procedures were extensive and extreme: multiple facelifts, cheek implants, lip enhancements, eye modifications, and other surgeries designed to create a cat-like appearance. The results were shocking and widely mocked, making Wildenstein a global symbol of surgical excess. But behind the sensational headlines lay a tragedy of self-perception and relationship dysfunction. Wildenstein's pursuit of feline features represented a deeper disconnection from reality and healthy self-image. Her willingness to spend millions transforming herself revealed the desperation of someone who had lost all sense of natural beauty. The financial cost was staggering, but the personal cost was even higher. Wildenstein became a recluse, avoided by former friends, and ridiculed by strangers. Her transformation, intended to secure love and acceptance, achieved the opposite: isolation and rejection from the very people she had hoped to impress. Joan Rivers, the comedy legend's surgical addiction. Joan Rivers turned her own cosmetic surgery obsession into comedy gold, but beneath the jokes lay a serious addiction that ultimately contributed to her death. The legendary comedian underwent dozens of procedures over several decades, constantly seeking to maintain the youthful appearance she believed was necessary for her career. Rivers was refreshingly honest about her surgical choices, making them part of her comedic persona rather than hiding them like many celebrities. Her self-deprecating humor about cosmetic procedures became a signature part of her act, but it also normalized what had become a dangerous obsession. The procedures were extensive: multiple facelifts, nose jobs, eyelid surgery, injectable fillers, and countless other interventions. Rivers famously joked that she had been under the knife so many times that her plastic surgeon had a reserved parking space at her house. But the comedy masked a deeper insecurity about aging in an industry that particularly punishes older women. Rivers felt pressure to maintain a youthful appearance well into her 70s, leading to increasingly frequent and risky procedures that put her health at risk. Her death in 2014 during a routine throat procedure brought attention to the risks of cosmetic surgery, particularly for older patients undergoing frequent interventions. The woman who had made millions laugh about her surgical choices became a sobering reminder of the very real dangers involved in pursuing artificial perfection. Kenny Rogers, the country legend's unrecognizable transformation. Kenny Rogers was one of country music's most recognizable faces. His distinctive features and silver beard made him instantly identifiable to fans worldwide. But in his later years, Rogers underwent cosmetic procedures that fundamentally altered his appearance, leaving fans shocked and confused by the changes. The transformation was particularly jarring because Rogers had been known for his natural, rugged appearance that perfectly complemented his country music persona. His decision to undergo cosmetic surgery seemed at odds with the authentic image he had cultivated throughout his career. Multiple procedures, including what appeared to be extensive facial work, left Rogers looking dramatically different. His eyes appeared smaller, his face seemed stretched and unnatural, and his overall expression had changed so significantly that longtime fans struggled to recognize him. The timing of his transformation was particularly unfortunate, coinciding with his farewell tour when fans were expecting to see the Kenny Rogers they remembered from decades of hits. Instead, they encountered a man whose appearance had been so altered that it distracted from his musical performances. Rogers later expressed regret about his surgical choices, acknowledging that the results hadn't achieved what he had hoped for. His honest admission about his disappointment with cosmetic surgery provided a rare moment of celebrity candor about the reality of surgical enhancement. His story serves as a reminder that even the most successful and beloved entertainers can fall victim to the pressure to maintain a youthful appearance. Wayne Newton, Mr. Las Vegas's Frozen Features. Wayne Newton, known as Mr. Las Vegas for his decades-long residency in the entertainment capital, underwent cosmetic procedures that left his once expressive face nearly frozen in an artificial mask. The performer, who had built his career on charismatic stage presence, found himself trapped behind features that no longer moved naturally. Newton's transformation was gradual but dramatic. Years of procedures designed to maintain his youthful appearance created an increasingly artificial look that interfered with his ability to connect with audiences. His face became a distraction rather than an asset in his performances. The most troubling aspect was how the procedures affected his signature expressions and stage presence. Newton had always been known for his animated facial expressions and genuine connection with audiences, but his altered features made it difficult to convey authentic emotion during performances. Industry observers noted that Newton's surgical choices seemed to reflect the unique pressures of Las Vegas entertainment, where performers are expected to maintain the same appearance for decades-long residencies. The city's emphasis on youth and glamour created an environment where aging naturally seemed like career suicide. But Newton's experience proved that artificial enhancement could be equally career-damaging. Audiences struggled to connect with a performer whose face no longer seemed capable of genuine expression, leading to declining attendance and shorter residencies. His story illustrates the particular challenges faced by live performers, whose success depends on authentic emotional connection with audiences. Amanda Lepore. The transgender icon's extreme feminization. Amanda Lepore became one of the most recognizable faces in New York's nightlife scene through a transformation that pushed the boundaries of cosmetic surgery and gender expression. Her journey from male to female involved countless procedures designed to achieve an exaggerated version of feminine beauty that defied conventional standards. Lepore's transformation included multiple facial feminization surgeries, extensive body contouring, breast augmentation, hip implants, and numerous other procedures that created her signature hourglass figure and doll-like features. The result was so dramatic that she became a living work of art, celebrated in fashion photography and nightclub culture. Unlike many others on this list, Lepore embraced her artificial appearance as a deliberate aesthetic choice rather than attempting to pass as naturally beautiful. Her exaggerated features became her brand, making her a muse for photographers and designers who appreciated her commitment to extreme glamour. However, the physical toll of such extensive surgery was significant. Lepore experienced numerous complications and required frequent maintenance procedures to preserve her appearance. The financial cost was equally substantial, requiring constant income to fund ongoing surgical interventions. Her story represents a different kind of transformation narrative, one where the subject achieves their desired result, but at tremendous physical and financial cost. Lepore found success and acceptance in a subculture that valued extreme aesthetics, but her journey required sacrifices that few could sustain over time. These 15 stories share a common thread of talented, successful individuals who believed surgical enhancement would solve problems that extended far beyond physical appearance. Each transformation began with hope, the promise of renewed confidence, career opportunities, or personal satisfaction. Instead, most found themselves trapped in cycles of endless procedures, mounting expenses, and diminishing returns. The most tragic aspect isn't the physical damage, though that's often severe. It's the loss of authentic identity in pursuit of artificial perfection. These individuals didn't just change their appearances, they fundamentally altered who they were, often becoming unrecognizable to themselves and others. Behind every dramatic transformation lies a deeper story of insecurity, industry pressure, and the fundamental human desire to be loved and accepted. The real transformation needed isn't surgical, it's cultural. Until society confronts its obsession with artificial perfection, more talented individuals will sacrifice their authentic selves, pursuing impossible standards of beauty. If these stories opened your eyes to the hidden dangers of cosmetic surgery obsession, share this video with someone who needs to see it. Subscribe for more cautionary tales that matter. And remember, your natural beauty is irreplaceable.